Hi everyone. So on the evening of Sunday the 10th of May 2020, the UK Prime Minister announced that as of Wednesday the 13th of May 2020, people in England will be able to take unlimited outdoor exercise again. And this has meant that sailing has become available again after the last 6 and a bit weeks of lockdown. Now for many this is a fantastic time for us to be able to go afloat again. We've missed getting out in our boat and that social side that sailing brings. Now with the new rules, we have a slightly changed environment we can go sailing in. So first of all, as a club we cannot offer any organised activity, and we also have no provision for safety cover afloat at the moment. So that means that anyone going sailing is doing it at their own risk, and therefore there's a few checks we would advise everyone does before they go afloat. So the aim of this video is to give you a little bit of advice about those checks you can make to ensure your time afloat is both safe and enjoyable. Now we can sum these checks up with 3 little phrases. Check yourself, check for conditions, and check your equipment. So let's start with ourselves. When we talk about checking ourselves, it's about our physical fitness and our capability. So after the last 6 weeks, for some of us, our physical health has possibly improved very slightly. I know that for myself, I've spent less time driving a vehicle around, I've spent less time eating fast food, I've been doing more exercise, I've been eating healthily at home, and so actually my physical health right now is pretty good. For some people, however, who may have done other exercises previously, that at the moment they've been sat in their house more for the last 6 weeks. I know some people have been eating comfort food slightly more, and so we're possibly not at our peak physical fitness that we would be normally. So we want to make sure that we can physically strong enough and that we've got enough physical energy when we're out on the water. So making sure we're eating appropriately before we go afloat, make sure we're hydrated, and that we're taking any snacks or drinks that we need with us on the water. We're also going to talk about, are we able to cope? So do we have the actual ability to sail in whatever's out there at the moment? Is our mind focused on going sailing? Are we emotionally ready to go and put ourselves into a different and challenging environment again? And with that environment, let's talk about checking those conditions. Now we're all used before we go sailing to check the weather forecast, see what the wind's going to do, is it going to rain? But that's going to be even more important at the moment for a couple of reasons. Number one is we're not used to sailing at the moment. We've all just spent the last 6 weeks with restricted activity, and that's come just after the winter. So many people will not have actively sailed since last October possibly. So we want to make sure that the conditions are going to be suitable for our first few times afloat this year in 2020. So if you're someone like myself, you might normally push your limits a bit more because you enjoy that physical challenge. Let's think about taking it slightly easier to start with. Remember, at the moment, there is no safety provision at a lot of inland sailing clubs such as Spinnaker. And if you go to the coast, whilst the Coast Guard and the RNLI are still active, there's reduced coverage available, and those emergency services are also under immense pressure at the moment. So we want to avoid relying on them as much as we can. So let's make sure the conditions we're going afloat in are suitable for our ability, but also that we're not going out in such light winds that we could potentially be affected and not get back to the shore. Finally, we talked about checking our equipment. Now we're going to go into more detail in a video we're going to do tomorrow about some basic safety checks we can do on our boats. However, the guiding thing here is that the vast majority of rescues take place because of equipment failure. So before we go afloat, let's make sure our boat is in tip-top condition. There's all sorts of little niggly bits we might have thought, I could do with changing that, or that's getting a bit worn out. And we might be tempted at the moment to just say, I want to go sailing. Now more than ever, it's the time to make sure our equipment is both suitable and fit for you. So please, please, please check your equipment before you go out. So we can summarise that up. Check ourselves. Are we ready for the conditions we'll encounter, and are we physically ready? Check the conditions. What's the weather doing? Is it going to be safe for us to go afloat? And finally, check our equipment is suitable and that it's, again, fit and ready to go afloat so we have no unexpected gear failures. With all of these things, there's a little mantra we can apply. If in doubt, don't go out. Especially at the moment, it'd be much better to sit out, miss out on one day sailing, and not get yourself in a situation where you may need other people to come and help you, as we are still all required to social distance to keep ourselves safe. As I said, tomorrow we're going to be releasing another video, and the aim of that video is going to be talk through some basic safety checks what we can do on our dinghy,